Bob Kendrick is in Cleveland as well, where he's been watching the speakers in the arena tonight.
He's here now with some of the messages we heard tonight. Bob?
Well, Kurt and Yo, over the first couple of nights here, we really felt a lack of energy at times. Many of the speakers didn't really resonate. The folks were milling about during speeches, but then tonight came Laura Ingraham, the syndicated radio host, and this is the moment right now where she really lit the fuse and the energy took off in this place. Have a listen.
I want to say this very plainly.
Of course, referring to John Kasich and others who have skipped the convention. Now, Marco Rubio is not here tonight, the junior senator from Florida, not in Cleveland himself because he's right now actively campaigning for his Senate seat down in Florida. However, he did send in a taped message, and in that used this effort to unify the party. Have a listen.
After a long and spirited primary.
Then came Ted Cruz. Former presidential candidate for the GOP, finished second to Donald Trump. He did not endorse Trump tonight. He did congratulate the nominee right at the start of his speech, but did not openly endorse him. More on that in just a moment. First, though, he also had this message to try and unify the party. Then came the moment where he wrapped up his speech without endorsing Donald Trump, and he was roundly booed. It was a huge chorus of boos from inside the queue here. Now, the man of the hour is in the house now. Donald Trump has arrived. Of course, his vice presidential candidate, his son is speaking right now. He's actually watching and listening to Eric Trump speak from the stage. Then he'll, of course, be here for his vice presidential pick, Mike Pence's speech, which is going to be expected to be the highlight of the evening tonight. A chance for Mike Pence, the governor of Indiana, to introduce himself not only to this audience, but to the national audience. We'll have the highlights coming up. We're reporting live in Cleveland at the Republican National Convention. Bob Kendrick, Fox 28 News. 7:30 is when we get started here tonight, by the way. And, you know, just outside of Quicken Loans Arena over at Progressive Field, tucked away where the Indians play, is a place where Republican meets retail. And here you'll find a product made in America, handcrafted by veterans, and get a dose of inspiration to boot. Here at the Freedom Marketplace, many of the booths are skirting the bounds of good taste. But if you open your ears,
we're, promoting patriotism.
You can find inspiration out of left field.
Flags of Valor is a story, and that's what this is. And it's art with a purpose.
Appreciate it. It's very awesome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Veteran Brian Stortz is finally getting to put that business degree to work after more than a decade serving his country.
We're selling handmade American flags. We're an all veteran-owned, operated, combat veteran-made company.
After all those years of wearing the flag, he suddenly found himself without one.
And I started looking around actually for a flag to put in my house. And I wanted one made out of wood, and the one I found wasn't made in the United States. Went out in the garage and just started woodworking. Had no prior experience and watched a bunch of videos and taught myself.
Now he and his staff of vets are turning out these.
Everything's done by hand. We route it and sand it, prepare it for painting, and we paint it. And then it goes through an antiquing process, and then we finish it so you can hang it inside or outside.
Brian is an Air Force Special Ops vet, deployed 9 times. And for him and his staff, there's therapy to be found in his flags.
I was injured and started woodworking, like I said, for therapeutic reasons. And most of them love to woodwork for therapeutic reasons. So it kind of serves as a release for them.
And here, amid the grand theater of freedom that is a political convention, Brian Stortz offers a simple statement of American values, created from wood and heart.
We're not a factory. These are all handmade and handcrafted, and they take a little bit of time, and people understand that.
Where would you want it all to go? What's kind of the dream?
Well, my dream is to just keep hiring veterans. This has been an amazing thing. We're at our 5th one. We're hopefully going to be, hiring our 6th one. And we tell people we don't just take veterans to a baseball game. We give them a job, and that's important for us. A lot of the proceeds from Flags for Valor go to various veterans charities, including one dedicated to special ops veterans. If you'd like to see what Brian has to offer, it's available online at flagsforvalor.com, and they're also on Facebook. Reporting live at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, I'm Bob Kendrick.
Yolanda, back to you. Just about to introduce the mayor of Cleveland here to wrap up the convention. They've had a big fireworks show outside. They've had the balloon drop inside the queue, as you saw on the network broadcast, and the convention very close to coming to a close. It's interesting because they were just partying to the Rolling Stones. You can't always get what you want, but of course the Republicans, at least most of them, have exactly what they want right now. Donald Trump is their nominee. I can confirm tonight that he read from a teleprompter. And it's probably a good thing, given that we'd probably be here well past midnight if he decided to speak off of the cuff. Covered acres of ground, all the different areas he feels that he'll improve if elected president. Everything from domestic and foreign security, infrastructure, law enforcement, jobs, the economy, ISIS, of course, immigration, even gay rights at one point. Spent a lot of time looking at the failings of Hillary Clinton, his opponent, and particularly her time as the Secretary of State.
After 15 years of wars in the Middle East.
Ivanka Trump was the fourth Trump child this week to take the stage tonight. She had the honor of introducing her father. Mr. Trump has been criticized often for his comments about women. And Ivanka tonight took time to assure voters that her father is respectful of women, said he's a champion of equal pay in the workplace. And she says he may be brash, but when it comes to business, he's very sharp and he should be in the White House. As Mr. Trump was taking the stage, protesters were making their own voices heard just outside of the arena here. Our Lisa Rontola joining us now live at Public Square, where the clashes tonight were very verbal, but not necessarily violent, Lisa. All right, Tom and Lisa, thanks so much. Well, Speaker Paul Ryan just banged the gavel down to officially adjourn the 2016 Republican National Convention. All that's left for the folks in here now is to pop a few balloons, it seems. Now it's the Democrats' turn to have the ear of the nation. The Democratic National Convention beginning next week, Monday, in Philadelphia. And on behalf of all of our crew and reporters here gathered through the week in Cleveland, I'm Bob Kendrick, sending it now back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Bob.
Well, another day and some more criticism coming your way from party leaders and also from Gold Star families regarding your response to the Khan speech at the DNC. Why do you feel justified to respond to this in the way that you have?
Well, I was very viciously attacked, as you know, on the stage, and I was surprised to see it. And so all I did, I have great honor and great feeling for his son, Mr. Khan's son. As far as I'm concerned, he's a hero. But horrible things were said about me. I think it was, frankly, very tough. So all I did is respond, and I will always respond.
You feel like you've given them that sense that you honor their son?
I do honor their son. I honor all people that were killed, as military or otherwise, and I think that it's very important to do so. I honor the people that were killed in Benghazi, needlessly killed in Benghazi. I honor many, many people that were killed for this country, all people that were killed for this country, and defending our country. It's very important to me.
This, of course, is giving more ammunition to your opponent who claims that you don't have the right temperament to be a president.
I think I have a great temperament. You don't see me doing anything. I'm just saying that from the stage, I was, attacked about the Constitution, and I know the Constitution very well.
Here on Veterans Day, we're remembering Pearl Harbor with a hero's story.
December 7th this year will be the 75th anniversary of the attack. Bob Kendrick introduces us to a survivor who's finally getting to go back there. Bob?
Well, Kurt and Yo, Milt Maypoe was there that day, the start of a war that dealt him 2 horrendous injuries and a hard-scrabble life afterward. But now a gift and a chance for some closure.
I survived 2 bad things, and I'm real lucky that I was still here today.
Among the vets who volunteer and hang out at Mott's Military Museum in Groveport, Milt Maypoe has a story that stands tall, on uneven legs.
My right leg is a half-inch shorter. See how the shoe is built up?
On December the 7th, 1941,
a date which will live in infamy.
Milt was a 19-year-old stationed aboard the USS Detroit at Pearl Harbor.
I look up in the sky, and here comes a plane in at us. And I take a look and I start yelling, "Meatball, meatball, Japs." As the plane was coming in, I could see the pilot's face. That's how low this plane was. And then the next thing I noticed, he dropped his torpedo. missed us. I saw his face, it was a smiling face. I remember it to this day.
The Detroit survived the attack, but later Milt was transferred to the destroyer USS Pringle. It was there that a Japanese bomb finally caught up with him.
Went right alongside the ship and it exploded and came right through the gun mount where I was, and I got hit in the back of the head.
His first Purple Heart. And he was at that gun again in 1945 off Okinawa when the Pringle met its doom at the hands of a kamikaze.
I could see the shells going right at it, and we couldn't knock it down. It just kept coming and coming and coming. Cut my ship right in half. And when I came to, I was laying there on the deck, and my foot was up here on my chest.
Somehow, he survived the injury and 2 hours in the water. And 4 years after Pearl Harbor, he returned there briefly.
I was in a body cast from here on down.
The Navy had no more use for him. So began 40 years of trying to work while bone continually splintered from his injured leg.
I couldn't stay on my job, and every time something happened to the leg. And when I get back out of the hospital, I go back to my job and they tell me, sorry, no job, we did away with your job. And that went on for years like that.
Knowing Milt had never had either a military or civilian retirement, fellow vet Greg Keller wanted to give him a gift.
I felt it was only fair that we take on the honorable task of raising money to send him back to Pearl to give him some sort of closure for that seminal event in his life.
By selling DVDs of Milt's life story, Greg's been able to reach that goal. And Milt Mapo is able to add a final chapter to his war story.
Last chance I have to get over there to see this.
And stand tall again among survivors.
I'm more excited day by day because it's getting closer and closer. And before you know it, December 3rd will be here and we'll be on our way.
If you'd like a copy of Milt's story on DVD and to contribute to his trip back to Pearl, just contact Mott's Military Museum in Groveport. Kurt?
Nice job, Bob, and thank you, Milt.